Welcome to the Business Miracles Podcast. I'm Heather Dominick, founder of BusinessMiracles.com. Since 2010, I've been training highly sensitive entrepreneurs and leaders from around the globe to work less while making more, impact and income by doing things differently. I'm so glad you've joined me. Listen in and get ready for a shift in the way you view yourself, your work, your life. A Business Miracle. This is A Course in Business Miracles podcast episode 128, How to Create More Without Burning Out. Let's focus in together as I share tips on how to approach rest differently. As a highly sensitive entrepreneur and leader, you can recharge and reset your nervous system, giving you greater access to creative solutions and innovation without having to take yourself out of your business and life. All so that you're fully equipped to lead yourself, lead your relationships, and lead your vision forward as we continue together through these exceptional times. We are here today to focus on the importance of time off and rest, why you need it, and how to get it. So, time off and rest during these exceptional times. Why it's important and how do we get it? That's really the key question. When there has been such an extreme loss of life in such a short amount of time, as a highly sensitive, how do you find rest in that? When the headlines of the news, day after day, month after month, are riddled with not only disruption, but absolute destruction. How do you find rest in that? Or take a moment and what else is it that you feel that you are forced to face now that perhaps you didn't really feel like you chose, or you wouldn't be facing it right now if you really had your personal choice about it? And how do you find rest in that? Let's take a breath in and let it out. So before the global pandemic of 2020 and before the racial justice movement of 2020, I taught rest as part of what I refer to as the 1/3 rule. And the 1/3 rule, speaking to really as a highly sensitive, being very conscious about how we use and relate with our time. Time off, time on, and time in. And I taught that 1/3 rule as really choosing days or large chunks within a day that were dedicated to off, on, and in. All coming from the perspective and the understanding that as highly sensitives, our nervous system becomes stimulated at a much higher degree than someone who's not highly sensitive, which tends to lead to the experience of overwhelm and lack of focus. And trying to manage many different tasks at many different times is often unproductive. So to be able to focus on, I am just in time off, or I am just now in time on, or I am in time in, helps to be able to calm the nervous system. It helps to be able to access the amygdala in the brain, the portion of our brain that is all about creative solutions, and then therefore leads us to our highly sensitive strengths. And all of that makes sense, and all of that worked very well for myself and many highly sensitives that I mentored, including most of you. And then 2020. And within that, to adapt also the 1/3 rule, beginning to look at and accept that time off, time on, and time in needed to be used differently. That perhaps it might not be about full days anymore, but literally more about I'm going to take this hour or these 2 hours, and I'm going to just dedicate that to off, to on, and to in. As part of that, it provides us the opportunity to look at rest differently and to raise our level of ability in regards to how we define rest, and then therefore also how we access and receive rest. Crisis brings change, and change brings reaction. And we have the choice in the midst of crisis, and therefore in the midst of change, to respond rather than to react. And let's write all of that down. Crisis, change, change, reaction. Respond rather than react. What I've become clear about in regards to the redefinition of rest is, and you'll want to write these down. Number 1, resistance robs you of rest. So again, write that down. Resistance robs you of rest. Number 2, reaction to change rather than response to change robs you of rest. So again, reaction to change versus response to change robs you of rest. And number 3, rest is found in acceptance and adaptation to the present moment. Rest is found in acceptance and adaptation to the present moment. So let's look at this more deeply. First of all, let's just clarify, what's the big deal about rest? Why is it important? Well, for every human being, there's tons of literature and research on the importance of rest to restore your physical being, your mental being, your spiritual being. For those of us who are highly sensitive, rest allows the nervous system to literally recharge. So it drops the revving of the nervous system. That is the definition of rest. So then from there, before these times, these exceptional times of 2020, rest was this almost luxurious commodity. There were classes and workshops and articles and clothing lines and products that were all geared towards the benefits and importance of buying yourself time for self-care. And we all read the articles, and we all went to the workshops, and we all bought the pretty apparel and the products, the special water bottles, the soft, cuddly clothes, the essential oils. And we gathered all of this as a way to say and demonstrate acts of self-care. Now, the luxury of that time has been taken away. To be able to lament for, days on end of, I'm just so busy and I have so much to do and I just can't find a way to rest. Or I need to hop on a plane and I need to go to an island that's surrounded by crystal clear, perfectly, tempered aqua colored water where I can then be on a white beach with no rain and someone waiting on me hand and foot and drinking water that has been filtered through the blessed shells of ancient turtles so that I can fully rest. That no longer exists. But of course, the truth is we didn't really need that in the first place. Rest has always been available to us at any moment, all the time. Rest, as a highly sensitive leader, is available to you by releasing resistance, by choosing responding versus reacting, and most importantly, accepting and adapting in the present moment. To let go of all of those stories and beliefs about the filtered water through the turtles that have been blessed by the shamans, or any other version of what you told yourself had to happen in order for you to get rest. To let that go and begin to consciously accept and adapt and choose rest to be accessible, usable, and a priority as part of your ongoing day-to-day, moment-to-moment functioning. Now, what will that require? It will require saying no where you said yes before, saying yes where you said no before, setting boundaries, changing the way you show up in relationships, with people, with tasks, with time. How do you find rest in that? It's not about a yes or no answer to that question. It's not, how do I find rest in that? It's, how do I find rest in that? Opening to creative solutions and opportunities and possibilities. So what is that shift meant to be for you? What do you let go so that you can let rest in? Breath in and let it out. Beautiful. We are being called to rise up and get creative, to accept what we've been given and to adapt as needed. And we have that ability more than any others as highly sensitives. When we're in our strengths, we are creative and innovative by nature. So that applies to everything that you're creating for yourself in your work and in your life. And it also applies to creating a new experience of rest so that you can be recharged, you can be rejuvenated, so that then you can continue to show up. And isn't that what it's all about anyway? I would say yes. Deep breath in and let it out. So my invitation for you is to begin to, through the lens of curiosity, proactively inquire, what is rest meant to be for me? And as a result of my redefinition of rest, how am I then more equipped to lead myself, my relationships, my work, my vision, my life?
Thank you for being a part of this Business Miracles podcast episode and for beginning to dip your toe into the journey of highly sensitive leadership training. If you are ready to truly use your sensitivities as strengths in all parts of your work and life, I invite you to connect for a one-on-one chat. You will experience being deeply listened to, and together we'll get a sense of whether the highly sensitive leadership training programs are the best next step for you and your highly sensitive journey at this time. Just go to www.claritycall.com to schedule a conversation. We so look forward to connecting with you. Talk to you soon.